Baltimore's offer to draft him in the 5th round of the 2025 NFL Draft because he did not want to be a backup to Lamar Jackson and wanted a team he'd have a better chance to play sooner. Really interesting stuff. Adam, what more can you tell us about what went down?
Well, the Ravens were preparing to take Shedeur Sanders in the 5th round with the 141st overall selection. And then they got word, obviously, that he would prefer not to be in a situation where he's in a quarterback room with Lamar Jackson, who's entrenched as the most valuable player, where he's not going to get the chance to play anytime soon or compete for the starting quarterback job. And so he let it be known that he preferred to pass on that opportunity. The Ravens went in a different direction. And then 3 picks later, Shedeur Sanders goes to the Cleveland Browns, where obviously he has a better chance to get that job at some point in time. We'll see how it plays out over time. He didn't know where he was going to go at pick 141, but in Baltimore was something that at that time did not overly appeal to him.
Interesting. Now, Cam, I would think you're the quarterback. It would be an incredible opportunity to sit behind a guy like Lamar Jackson in the Baltimore Ravens and learn with that head coach. Yeah. What's your reaction to this?
What's going on, y'all? It's your boy Alex. Welcome to Alex Sports Talk and Bets. And this isn't exactly the video I had planned to make today, but I wanted to touch on this really quick because I just found it weird and interesting at the same time. The NFL's relationship with Shedeur Sanders to me is very weird because you clearly don't like him. You dropped him in the 5th round when we all knew he was higher than a 5th round talent. But you use his name all the time to promote your league. If you're the Browns, to sell tickets, to get clicks. But you don't like him. If you don't like the man, why don't you just leave him alone so he can fade off into the abyss? I don't get it. And this is triggered from the video that you guys just seen where Adam Schefter decided to break all of a sudden for some reason last night that apparently the Baltimore Ravens were going to take Shedeur Sanders before the Cleveland Browns ultimately did. I think they were like 3 picks ahead of the Cleveland Browns, but apparently Shedeur said he doesn't want to go to Baltimore because he doesn't want to sit behind Lamar Jackson. Now, there's a couple of things wrong, and this isn't going to be a long video because it doesn't need to be. There's just a couple of things wrong about this whole entire situation. Number one, why put this out now? The draft was in April. If you wanted to say this, you had April, May, June, July, August, 5 months to put this story out. 5 months. Really, we'll say 4.5 because, you didn't get the whole month of April before the draft. But you get my point. Put this out now for what? For what? Now, I understand that the Browns suck, but you had Joe Flacco coming back to Baltimore to face the Ravens. You had the nice gesture moment between Lamar Jackson and Joe Flacco, with the big hug in the field and stuff like that. You had plenty of other storylines you could have talked about. Shedeur is not even a backup. So what are we talking about Shedeur for? I don't get it. I don't understand it. And then for First Take to literally have a 20-minute segment on this, what is there to talk about? Number two, the second problem with this, besides the fact that it's way after the draft and there was no point to bring it up because he's not even the backup and was never going to play in this game, is that Shedeur said out of his own mouth that this isn't true. They asked him about it. He's like, I don't know what they're talking about. I've never said such a thing. And now, rather or not I believe him is a whole nother story. I don't really think he has a reason to lie. The only reason I'm even saying rather or not I believe him is because I want to get into my third point, which is if he did say this, and the man said he didn't say it, and I have no reason to believe he would lie. But even if he did say it, and this is my third point, all right? So the number 2 point is he said he didn't say this, and I don't have a reason not to believe him. The number 1 point is it's an irrelevant story. This happened a long time ago, and there was absolutely no reason to bring this up now. But the third point is, even if he said it, so what? Every single player coming from college to the NFL wants to be on a team where they're in a position to play. Nobody desires to sit on the bench. Nobody desires to sit on the bench. That's loser talk. Everybody thinks they're good enough to play. And even if they got to get baptized by fire, most athletes, and these are the type of athletes you would want on your team, you want them to be willing to go out there and get baptized by fire versus sitting on the bench. You don't want players with a bench warmers mentality on your team. Even if we go to the college ranks, when 5-star, 4-star recruits come to your campus, they want to know that they're going to play. That's why there's so many people in the transfer portal every year, because these guys will go to like Georgia or Tennessee or Notre Dame, Ohio State, Michigan, Texas A&M, Texas, whatever. The Blue Bloods, you get my point, Penn State. And they'll realize there's no path to the field for them until their junior or senior year. And they're like, I'm not about to sit around here and waste 2 to 3 years, because most of them get redshirted. So if you get redshirted, that's 3 years, waiting for my opportunity to play. Also knowing that every single draft class, these teams are bringing in, anywhere from 15 to 35 players, and they're all 5-star, 4-star too. So imagine me waiting for my chance, and then there's a kid who you brought in who's a sophomore, right? Let's just say he's a redshirt sophomore. I'm a redshirt junior. So I've been waiting 3 years, and this redshirt sophomore beats me out. When this whole time, I could have went to like a middle-level Power 4 team, right? Like I could have went to Colorado, Texas Tech, Syracuse. I could have went to Minnesota. I could have went to, like all these other programs, Michigan State, something like that, Mississippi State, Arkansas, where I might have been able to play, but I sat here waiting my turn and I still didn't get a chance to play. Now I got to transfer, earn that coach's trust, learn the playbook, and hope I can get on the field my junior year and not have 1 year and one shot at this other Power 4 school to show what I'm worth my senior year. Right? Most kids don't want to do that. If they don't see a path to the field in at least 2 years, they're going to leave. Again, that's why you see the transfer portal like that. And these are kids. These are 17, 18-year-olds. So what makes you think the average person coming out the draft is any different? Especially if they perceive themselves to be good. Shedeur sees himself as a starter. So why would he want to go and sit behind the two-time should have really been through? We're gonna leave alone how Lamar Jackson really should have won the MVP again last year. But just sitting behind a multiple-time MVP who's only like 28 years old and he's not going anywhere anytime soon. Why would you want to be in that situation? Then the entire first take argument of, he could learn so much from Lamar Jackson. What's he going to learn from Lamar Jackson? Shedeur Sanders is a stereotypical pocket passer. He doesn't run. So what is Lamar Jackson going to teach him? Even if he was Cam Ward, I would understand it because Cam Ward's, he can move. He can really run. Shedeur only runs if it's a last resort, and he ain't getting far. Right? Shedeur would learn more from Joe Flacco than he would learn from Lamar Jackson. Their play styles are nothing similar. Yes, they're a better ran organization, but what does that have to do with your ability to get on the field? Nothing. So even if he did say this, it really doesn't matter because that's what he should say. He should want to play. No quarterback who views themselves as a starter wants to go to Baltimore. No quarterback that views themselves as a starter wants to go to, Buffalo, wants to go to Kansas City. To sit behind, Mahomes and Allen and Lamar Jackson to go to Philly and sit behind. The Kyle McCord, I think, was good enough to make an NFL team. He got drafted to Philly. He had no chance to make that team. Why would anyone seek out that situation? So even if he did say it, what's the problem with it? The answer is there is no problem with it. The media is just weird, They know Shedeur gets you clicks. If you say Shedeur's name, he's a polarizing figure. He's a controversial figure. A lot of people love him and a lot of people hate him. So they just find any reason to bring his name up. Which, I get the game. I just think it's messed up using the kid for clicks in this way. What's the point in putting out the story? What are you trying to make it seem like he was ungrateful or something? Like, what's the point? Why put out this story? What is your angle on putting this story out? I know it's to get clicks, but as far as how you expect it to affect Shedeur, what's the point? At the end of the day, this is still a young man, This is not an older man with a bunch of experience. This is still a younger man. So I just, we're going into week 2 of the NFL season and you still using Shedeur for clicks. And again, I just don't get why Adam Schefter put this story out. I just wanted to comment on it really quick because quite frankly, I found it to be messed up. If you want me to be honest with you, it was just messed up. It was dumb. There's a million and one other things to talk about. Why are we still talking about this? So that's my thoughts on that. Y'all let me know what you think in the comments. But quite frankly, like I said, man, number 1, this is old. Number 2, he said he didn't say this. And number 3, even if he did, what's the problem? Because I don't see it. That's my thoughts on that, y'all. I am Alex, and I am out. Peace.